If you're a man in your 30s, you train, you eat reasonably well, and the fat around your stomach still will not move, you're probably blaming your discipline. The real issue is that nobody has ever actually looked at what is happening inside your body. In the next 13 minutes, me and Daniel are going to walk you through 3 things: who we are and why the man we coach finally get unstuck after years of trying, why the diet and training stuff you have been doing is actually working against you, and what is really driving fat storage in a man's body in his 30s, and the exact system we use inside NEXE to fix it, what it costs, and how to know if it is right for you. Stay with us. The middle part is where most of you are going to realize what has actually been happening.
I've spent over 10 years inside health science. I'm a CSEP certified personal trainer, which is the highest fitness certification in Canada. Together, we have coached men across multiple countries, from accountants to executives, founders, finance, directors, and software engineers. Men in their 30s with full lives, demanding jobs, and a body that stopped responding years ago. The thing that makes our approach different from what most coaches do is simple. Before we touch your nutrition, your training, we test you. Over 100 blood markers, hormones, thyroid, adrenals, metabolic markers, micronutrients. We see what is actually happening from the inside of your body, and then we build your plan around what we find. Inside out, not outside in. That is the whole methodology. Before we built NEXE, I was the guy we now coach. I was always competitive growing up, played hockey, swimming, tennis. The first time I saw Brad Pitt in Fight Club, something shifted in me. That presence that he had and the confidence of how he moved through a room, that became the standard that I wanted for myself. And what followed was years of doing everything wrong. From crash diets, aggressive cuts, cutting carbs, 2-hour gym sessions, daily cardio on top of that. I tried keto, carnivore, vegan, bodybuilding diets. Every supplement that promised something, I tried. I cracked the whip of my body for years and it just stopped responding. Then COVID hit, the gyms closed, I lost my job, and I ended up at 205 pounds, the heaviest I've ever been. Telling myself that I was bulking. I was not bulking. I was depression eating. I just was not ready to say that out loud yet. What finally woke me up was blood work. My lipid panel was bad. My blood sugar was creeping up. My testosterone was dropping. I was looking at a piece of paper that I just couldn't argue with. So I stopped trying to brute force the outside. I started studying what was happening on the inside. When the world opened back up, I dropped 40 pounds and hit 8% body fat confirmed on a DEXA scan. I felt proud. I also felt angry, frustrated that it took me a decade of grinding before someone finally told me to look at my own data.
If you're watching this, you have probably done some version of what Daniel did. You cut carbs harder, you added a 5th cardio session, you cleaned up your diet for 8 weeks straight. Maybe you even hired a coach who handed you a generic macro plan and called it personalized. Your effort kept going up, but your results kept flatlining. Or worse, the weight crept back up despite the deficit. Every coach you have worked with has prescribed before they tested. They saw a guy who needed to lose fat and gave you the same plan they give everyone else. When it did not work, they told you just need to be more consistent. It was never about consistency. Nobody has ever ran a diagnostic on you. Nobody actually opened the hood. And here's what is actually happening underneath. The data on men your age is genuinely alarming. Average testosterone in men has been dropping about 1% every single year for decades. Cortisol levels are climbing. Insulin sensitivity is dropping across the board. The men who do not address this now spend the next 30 years compounding the damage. But the small group who do get ahead of it are the ones who look around at 45 and realize they're in the best shape of their lives while everyone else gave up. Which group you end up in is being decided right now.
After years of testing this on myself, on Kevin, and now on every client we onboard, we collapsed the whole approach into a 3-phase system. We call it prime, burn, and sustain. Phase 1 is prime. This is where most coaches skip straight to a meal plan. We do the opposite. In prime, we run a full blood work panel on you. Over 100 markers through our partnership. Testosterone, total and free. Thyroid, including free T3 and T4, not just TSH. Insulin, glucose, HbA1c, cortisol and DHEA, vitamin D, B12, the list goes on, the full picture. Then we assess your metabolic baseline. How long have you been dieting? What are you currently eating? What does your training history look like? like. If your metabolism is suppressed, which is the case for about half the men who come to us, we don't add more restriction. We do the opposite. We rebuild the engine first. Sometimes that means eating more for a few weeks before we actually cut anything out. And it sounds counterintuitive, but it works because a metabolism running at full capacity burns more fat in a caloric deficit than a suppressed one does in a major caloric deficit. Phase 1 usually runs about 4 to 8 weeks. For some guys, it is longer. We do not move to fat loss phase until your body is actually ready for it.
Phase 2 is burn. Once the foundation is solid, we move into the actual fat loss work. This is where the experience feels completely different from what you have done before. Energy becomes stable, training feels strong, hunger becomes manageable. You're no longer brute forcing through it all because we are not starting from a place of depletion. 3 strength sessions a week, 45 minutes each with compound lifts. We're not adding more volume because more volume in a calorie deficit just elevates cortisol, kills recovery, and makes you hungrier. We want to optimize for the right hormonal response, not for the time spent in the gym. Nutrition is a calorie budget, not a clean eating rule book. You eat the food you actually enjoy within a target. 2 home cooked meals on the weekdays, 10,000 steps a day, and refeeds on the weekend at maintenance calories. The refeeds are not cheating. They are a mechanism to keep your hormones intact while you're on a cut. This is also where, if it makes sense for your specific situation, we layer it with tools like GLP-1 therapy. Not as a shortcut, only after foundation is built and you have demonstrated consistency and used the tools correctly. In the right hands, it removes the last barrier. Used incorrectly, it can cause muscle loss and rebound. We treat it the way we treat everything else, with data and structure.
Phase 3 is sustain. This is where most programs end and the client falls apart 6 months later. Sustain is what makes the results last. We transition you to a 3-month cycle, 3 months of slow cutting between 8 and 11% body fat. Then 3 months of maintenance or a gentle lean ball between 11 and 13%. You never drift above 15. Recuts are quick because you're starting from 13% instead of 22%. We continue blood work quarterly to make sure your hormones like your testosterone, thyroid, and adrenals are holding steady. Data does not stop being useful when you hit your goals. It's what keeps you there. That is the whole system. Prime, burn, sustain. Tested with men in finance, tech, founders, executives. Built for someone working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, traveling regularly with a real life.
Here's how we actually deliver this for you. When you work with us inside NEXE, you get weekly one-to-one coaching calls with Daniel personally. Especially in the first 1 to 2 months, we are building your foundation. After that, the frequency adjusts based on what you need. You get day-to-day WhatsApp support, direct chat with Daniel, and if you have a question on a Tuesday afternoon about a meal, a training session, a travel situation, you can message him and you get the answer. 2 comprehensive blood work panels included in the price, one at start at phase 1 and one 3 months later, so we can know exactly how your hormones, thyroid, and metabolic markers have shifted. A personalized nutrition built around your data, your schedule, and your preferences, and a personalized training program you can actually run in 45-minute sessions 3 times a week. And adjustments are made week to week based on how your body is responding. And the program runs 6 months on the flagship. And if you need a different structure, we have done 3-month engagements and month-to-month for specific situations. The investment to work with us is anywhere from mid 4 figures up to around 5,500 USD, depending on which structure makes sense for your situation. We'll figure out the right fit when you book the call. If that is not something you can comfortably spend on your body right now, this is probably not the right time. Save that call, go watch our free content, and come back when the timing is better. And if it is, the next step is to book a call below and we'll walk you through exactly what your specific plan will look like.
A few questions we get all the time. Let me answer them up front so you don't have to ask on the call. First one, why does this cost what it costs? Because what you're paying for is not information. The internet is full of information and half of it is wrong. The other half is not personalized to you. So what you're paying for is the testing, the interpretation of your blood work in your body, the weekly call with someone who has seen this pattern hundreds and thousands of times, and the day-to-day adjustments that when life happens. This is the part no one else gives you, and that is the part that actually moves the result for you.
Second one, I do not have time. I work 50 or 60 hours per week. Most of the men we coach work 50 to 60 hour weeks. Prince was a director of finance pulling 60 plus hours per week when he worked with us, and he lost 28 pounds. Slava, a 7-figure e-commerce founder, he was training less than 2 hours a week now, and the whole program is built around 3 sessions of 45 minutes and walking 10K steps.
I've worked with coaches before and it did not work. We hear this from almost every client we onboard. Most of them have tried 2 or 3 coaches before us. The common thread is that nobody ever tested them first. They got handed a generic macro split and a workout plan and told to be patient. Our system starts with your specific data, which is why it produces a different result. If you have been through 3 coaches and you are still stuck, that is not a sign you should give up. It's a sign that no one has actually looked at your specific data yet.
Fourth one, can't I just use ChatGPT or one of these AI fitness apps? You can, and it will help you with the general structure. What it will not do is interpret your specific blood work in the context of your training history, your stress load, and your goals. It will not tell you that your SHBG is elevated from prolonged restriction, and the real answer is actually to eat more for a few weeks before cutting. That kind of judgment comes from doing this with hundreds of men, not from a model trained on the internet.
Fifth one, what if I travel a lot? Most of our clients travel. We built the whole program around the worst week, not the best one. The training fits any hotel gym. The nutrition uses a 3-tier fallback system for when you can't weigh your food. There is a travel supplement protocol, and we coach you through it the first time you have to navigate it, and after that it's automatic.
Let me be specific about who this is for and who it is not for. This is for you if you're a man in your 30s with a real career or business, and you train consistently and you eat reasonably well, and the results you're after is not just a number on the scale. You want your body that holds up at 45 and beyond. It is for you if you're willing to follow a process for 6 months, and if you can be honest with us about what you're actually eating and how you're actually training, even when it's not flattering. It is for you if you can take this seriously enough to actually run the blood work and sit on calls and apply what we give you.
This program is not for you if you're looking for a 6-week transformation. We don't do those. It's not for you if you want to argue with the data, if we run your panel and the answer is not what you wanted to hear. We need you to trust the process. People who fight the diagnosis do not get the result. It's not for you if this is your last $5,000. We do not want anyone going into financial stress to work with us. The hormonal cost of that is bigger than the actual benefit. And it's not for you if you are a course collector. We're not handing you another PDF to read. We are going to be genuinely coaching you through this actual change. If you want to learn forever and never apply anything, save your money. We turn down clients for these reasons every week. The result you get with us is our reputation, and we protect that more than the revenue.
If that sounds like you, the next step is simple. Click the link below and fill out the application. We ask a few questions to make sure you are the fit. If you are, we get on a call, look at where you are, and map out exactly what your specific plan would look like. If you're not a fit, we tell you directly on the call.
Let me show you what this actually looks like in practice.
Vlad, the software engineer, working 60+ hour weeks, dropped 16 pounds in 4 weeks once we rebuilt his hormones. Siwan, sales career, full social calendar, lost 17 pounds in 4 months and fixed his health markers. He's now chasing the last few pounds to hit 10% body fat right now. Slava, 7-figure e-commerce founder, came to us after years of bodybuilding style dieting and had wrecked his hormones. Went from 196 to 174 in under 5 months while running his company. He now eats meals that take 10 minutes to prepare and trains less than 2 hours a week. Prince, director of finance, working 60+ hour weeks, went from 205 to 177. That is 28 pounds gone while working the same brutal schedule the whole time. Alex was actually recovering from surgery when he started working with us, lost 32 pounds over 8 months. We fixed his blood sugar, his cholesterol, his hormones, his metabolism. He still gets to eat the food that he loves. None of these men had less work, less stress, or fewer responsibilities than you. They just stopped guessing and started measuring. If you want a result that looks like that, book a call below. We will show you exactly what your specific version of it looks like.
Now, for the analytical buyer who wants to know what happens if this does not work. If you go through the 6 months with us, you follow the protocol, you sit on the calls, you do the blood work, and you don't hit the goal that we agreed on at the start, we keep working with you one one-on-one for free until you do. That is the guarantee, not a refund. Continued work. The reason we offer it that way is because a refund does not solve anything for you. You still don't have the body you came here for. We want to actually give you the results. So if we miss the first time, we stay on it until you do. We can offer that because we know what happens when someone actually follows the process. The result is not in question. The only variable is execution, and that is what we coach you through.
A few more examples for you. Kevin, yes, that is me. Before any of this, I was the heaviest version of myself. After building the foundation correctly, laying the right protocols, I lost 40 pounds over the next 6 months. I've held it up to 10 to 12% body fat for the last 4 years without any additional effort. That is what the sustained phase looks like when it's built the right way. Daniel went from 205 pounds during COVID to 8% body fat on a DEXA scan and has held 10 to 12% body fat year-round since. Slava, again, because his story is worth telling twice. He came from a high-profile bodybuilding coach, he had gone aggressive, dropped weight, and gained almost all of it back within months. When we got with him, he was eating 2,500 calories and still gaining weight. We rebuilt his metabolism first, then we cut. He is now in the best shape of his life, eating more than he was before, and working out less than he was before as well. The pattern is always the same. Test the body, fix what is broken, and build a system around real data. That is the entire methodology in one sentence.
If you are watching this and any of what we said is hitting close to home, if you've been carrying the same 20 or 30 pounds for years, if you have tried the things that should work and they keep not working, if you're tired of operating below your standard in one area of your life that has not caught up with the rest, book a call below. We will look at where you are, what you've tried, and tell you honestly whether NEXE is the right fit.
And if it is not, we'll tell you exactly that. No pressure either way. Click the button, fill out the application. We'll see you on the call.